All right, we are live. Hello, viewer. I see you down there. Thank you for joining in. We're going to get started within the minute, just waiting on that 1 o'clock to hit. All right, and there it is. Hello, everybody, and thank you for joining me for Protect Yo'Self Foo, Cybersecurity in 2014. See, I had to do that hardcore like the movies. Yeah, but today we're going to be talking about ways to protect ourselves in terms of our identity online and offline. And we're also going to be talking a little bit about educational implications if we have time at the end. So really quickly, just want to introduce myself. My name is Sarah Thomas. I am technology liaison up in a school in Oxon Hill, Maryland, but I also do recertification teaching hours, and I've been doing these interactive tutorials all week, taking advantage of the winter break just to, get this dream going. So if you aren't already on Twitter, then please follow me at Sarah the Teacher, and I'm all about building the PLN, so I'd love to collab with anyone on there. In addition, please visit www.sarahjanethomas.com if you want to get archives of any of the other sessions that we've done, including started with Google Drive, then we did Google Sites, then we did Edmodo, then there was a video about coding in the classroom. So definitely check those out when you get a chance if you're interested. All of these topics were selected by popular vote, so if you'd like to join in the vote and let your voice be heard, then please visit tinyurl.com/Sarah the Teacher -survey. Please fill that out, and that will give me a heads up as to what you all want to talk about in these interactive discussions. Now today, if you have something that you'd like to chime in, the question and answer widget has been enabled, so I'm going to put that on my screen in just a second, but feel free to go ahead and back channel, type in any of your questions that you may have for me or any comments that you'd like to share. I'll be going back and forth through that during the time of this discussion, and it's more fun when everybody joins in. In terms of today, for resources, I like to, for each session, put together some resources. However, this session's a little different. I'm not doing a Google Doc this time. I'm actually linking to the Haiku Deck presentation because I did this one time for my staff members at my school. So if you could follow along, there's a lot of links there and more information. So if you could just follow along with me, the link is right down there, tinyurl.com/Sarah the Teacher -cybersecurity. So hopefully that should take you there and you can follow along with me. Got a lot of really cool things to talk about today. So it can be kind of scary, but don't worry because we're going to talk about ways that we can protect ourselves. So let me go ahead and put this Q&A up on the right. All right, great. So I am all good to go. So what I'm going to do right now is that I'm going to share my screen with you guys so that we can all be on the same page in terms of the Haiku Deck presentation. So I am going to start my screen share right now. Bada bing, and hopefully there it is. Let me see. Yep. All right, so I see it right now. Great. So let's talk a little bit about cybersecurity in the 21st century, and more specifically in 2014. We're 2 days away. Can you feel it? Can you feel it? I can. Hope everybody's going to celebrate. It's going to be a great year. I can feel it. Okay, so here is the background. So my purpose of doing this presentation is not to scare you guys, even though some of the information may be a little bit disturbing. So there was a conference back in October that I attended. The link is actually on the right-hand side, so let me show you guys this. This was held at the University of Maryland, and they had a lot of really useful information about ways to protect yourself from all of the cyber threats that are going on in the world. So it's really awesome. If you guys are in the DC area, maybe you want to look into the C3 conference for next year. So pretty much all the information that I'm sharing with you guys, I got it from this particular conference. So the takeaway is that the world has changed so much in such a quick period of time, and now all of the threats that we were worried about maybe last year or the year before that, a lot of those are extinct, and there's a lot of new ones. So every day things kind of change. There's new viruses out there, so we just have to be on top of things, and we have to educate ourselves. Now, I love technology, but this conference scared the mess out of me. I'm just going to be completely honest. However, once I got towards the end and I heard some of the tips and I felt a little better. So I'm just going to go ahead and share what I learned with you guys. I'm no expert, but here's some good stuff that you may hopefully find useful as well. So now, just want to take you to some myths versus realities in terms of cybersecurity. So I'm going to go ahead and go to this link right over here that's shared on the notes section. There's this nice infographic, and this comes from Cybersecurity Awareness Month. You may or not be aware, they had this back in October. That was Cybersecurity Awareness Month. So they have here 5 common web security myths. So this was really cool. It kind of blew my mind. Okay, so the first one is you can only get viruses and malware from shady areas of the web. Okay, now a lot of people think that if you go to these little nasty, freaky sites, that's going to be the only way that you're going to get, some kind of virus or whatever on your computer. That's not true. They could actually, you could have the nicest site, you could have Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood that somebody set up to give you a virus. So it's crazy. People can mirror these sites and all different kinds of things. I see that we have a question that popped up. What's the security risk with the multi-accounts on Chrome for students in the schools and other public areas? Thank you, Michelle, for your question. It's very good to have students to have their own password to log in. Honestly, in terms of the computer labs at your schools, hopefully the students have their own accounts where they can sign in, excuse me. And if so, then that would reduce the risk of somebody else jumping on their account and just going crazy. It helps with accountability. So if you don't have that, though, and everyone is privy to everyone else's information, I know at my school sometimes on the Mac computers we don't have a login. So sometimes kids sign into different browsers and they leave their information there, and other kids can just go in and access their mail and all types of things. Luckily, there's been no situations like that, but those are definitely security risks. So I highly recommend that you talk to your network administrator to make sure that the students can have their own login, and also as a teacher, encourage them not to leave themselves signed into the browser. So that would be my suggestion. Okay, hope that answered your question. So let's look at number 2. I'm not interesting enough. No one wants to hack me. Ha! That's what you think. You are definitely interesting because if you have a social security number, if you have a bank account, then you're interesting to someone. So definitely don't fall into that trap. The third one, I used to be very guilty of this, but I have a Mac. They don't get malware or viruses. Well, guess what? We're almost in 2014, and people have figured out a way. So it's crazy. You got to definitely take your security precautions everywhere. Here's another one. I'm safer on my phone than my laptop or desktop. They've actually started coming up with viruses for your laptops and for your cell phones. And we're going to talk in a second about smishing and phishing, and the smishing involves cell phones. So don't think that you're going to be protected just because you're on your cell phone. And number 5, I run antivirus software. I don't need to worry about where I click. That is another myth that you definitely need to worry about, because every day, like I said, every day they're coming up with different viruses, and your antivirus, it can protect you against some of the known threats. However, what if they just come up with a virus like, within the last 15 minutes that just goes and, and hits everything? So you need to definitely make sure that you do have an antivirus software. That's a good idea. However, don't necessarily rely on it. Also use your best practices and use your head. So let's see here. Question from Michelle. Are they trained to close their session at the end of work? I believe you're referring to students. And yeah, I think that in terms of us, what we can do as educators is that we can remind students that they need to log out of each session as soon as they're done. I know that my kids, they don't particularly remember that all the time. There is a software called Vision. Let me see if I can find their website for you guys. NetApp Vision. So our school actually has a license. And what it does, it has one teacher computer that can control all of the computers in the lab. And typically what I do after each computer lab class is that I shut down the computers remotely, so that auto forces everything to log off and to close behind the students in case they forget. But definitely I would encourage them to have the responsibility themselves to log out of everything. But you know, it's better to be safe than sorry. If you can get a software that can control the student computers and force them to log off, then that might be a good way to go. Okay, and I see that they're trying to chat with me here on. Nah, we don't need to chat. All right. So those were some myths versus realities regarding cybersecurity. So let's talk about some things that you might find, some things that you might encounter. One thing that scared the mess out of me is this thing called skimmers. Skimmers, and what they do, they take your credit card information, and it is insane. Let me show you what this thing looks like. I'm going to go to this link right over here. These skimmers, they are so tiny. This is a pen on the left. You see how small this skimmer is? All they have to do is to implant that somewhere, and bam, they have access to your information. It's insane. So let me tell you a little bit how this works. So these skimmers right here, a lot of times they're used at gas stations or in ATMs that are just in the middle of nowhere. They have a pinhole camera that takes a picture of your card. So the presenter at the C3 conference was saying that that what people will do with these skimmers is that they'll send your information to the computer, and I'll show you that in the infographic here. So this is generally how it works. So you go to a gas station, right? And then you have one accomplice that will distract the station attendant while the other one installs a card skimmer. And it's not a large amount of time that it takes to install these things, which is scary. All you need is for somebody to distract the attendant for just a moment. Then, okay, this is how they install it. They remove the cover and they put the skimmer right into the reader's electronic system, and wirelessly the card information is transmitted to the thieves while the pump is used. So it's crazy. So with this information, then they'll put it on their computer, and then what I heard is that people will buy hotel key cards in bulk, and they'll download your information there and just use your information. Like they'll have, just like on the hotel key cards, that you swipe to open the door, then you can just take that key card and go to an ATM and use it like that with your card information located on there. And the scary thing is that banks will not press charges. It's up to you to press the charge, but it's crazy just how elaborate people have gotten with this. Now, you might be thinking, okay, well, I'll just keep an eye out for skimmers and I'll make sure I don't use one. Well, can you really tell? Let's see here with this link down here. This is what a skimmer looks like. It looks just like any other regular card reader. You can't tell. This is a real card reader slot and the capture device, and when it's not in the ATM, then you see how this right here kind of comes up, and they can have their little skimmer implanted right there. So it's crazy. So one thing I heard that can protect you is well, first let me show you guys. I found that there's even an app for skimming. So let me show you that really quickly. A little detour here. So they even have an app for skimming. So it's insane. Now, here are some ways that we can protect ourselves. Before I actually open this link here, just want to let you know that that one thing that was suggested at the conference was to give the card readers a little tug, and if it feels like it's been tampered with, if it feels loose at all, then you might want to let that one go and go somewhere else. So let me put my face back on the screen so you can see what I'm talking about. So when you go to the gas station, let's say I'm at the gas station, I'm putting the little thing in my car, I'm screwing the nozzle, and I'm putting my card in the card reader. When you put your card in the card reader, you might want to give it a distinct little tug, and just, very discreetly. And if it feels like it's loose, feels like it's been tampered with, then I would go elsewhere because it's really not worth it. So that's one way to definitely protect yourself against these skimmers. Now let me share my screen with you one more time, and let's see what they say here in this article. They have some other ways that you can protect yourself from these skimmers. And down here, here's some steps you can take. First of all, you might want to go with the credit option when you're at the gas pump. Also, inspect before you swipe. Like we said before, tug at the credit card reader. And if you find any weird stuff, try a different machine. If you're at like a concert or a music festival, then you probably don't want to use these, random pop-up ATM machines. You can go to, you can go before the concert, go to one from your bank. But if you do have to use it, then they're saying here to cover your hand as you type your PIN number, so that might hide your PIN from other machines. And last but not least, review your bank statement to make sure that there's no kinds of crazy activity going on there. So those are skimmers in a nutshell. Crazy, scary skimmers. Now the next thing, I want to talk about smishing. Now I'm sure many of you have heard of phishing. You might have gotten the email from Mr. Mumbatu, trying to wire funds to your account. However, you can now be smished, which is like the SMS version of phishing. They'll send you like these fake text messages. It's crazy. So if you have a smartphone, hopefully you're like me, Team iPhone, what? But if not, if you're Team Android, there's bad news for you here. Hopefully they've already fixed this, but since this article dates from 2012, but they found a smishing vulnerability in all recent versions of Android, and Google was working on a fix. Hopefully they've already gotten it. You can do your research and see. But yeah, the Androids were particularly susceptible to smishing. Now, let me put my face back on here because there's nothing else to really share from this particular screen. But if you've ever gotten this weird text message, then it could be smishing. Okay, smishing is a fake text. It looks like it's legitimate. It could be from somebody claiming that they're from your bank, but it's not. It can even take you to a mirror site of the bank account. People can easily copy, like, Bank of America, Capital One, whatever, their site, and set it up and have you log in, and then next thing you know, your account is drained. So it's crazy. It's crazy the kind of things that people can do. Here's another example. There's a notification. You could receive a notification that you've signed up for a service and you'll be charged unless you cancel. Or you could have a confirmation of a purchase that you never really made, and they can say call a number if it's inaccurate. So those kinds of things are called smishing. So what can you do to protect yourself from smishing? Well, one thing that you can do is to make sure not to click on any kind of weird link coming from these sites. You might want to go directly to the browser of the bank, or call the bank from a number that you can verify is the bank's number, and that way deal with them. So there's lots of different things you can do, but if you're smished, I would highly suggest that you do not respond in any way to any text message that could be fake trying to steal your information. So smishing, it's crazy. Crazy. All right, the next thing I want to talk to you guys about. Oh, this freaked me out. Let me put my screen back on up here. I mean, it freaked me out, but at the same time, it was kind of cool. I'm not even going to lie. All right, this thing is called spoof card. Now, there is... Okay, before I tell you about this, let me just backtrack a little bit. So, for smishing, I want to give you all a quick anecdote of how I was phished one time. I got an email from a student of mine saying that they were overseas and that they needed money, and me being me, I was like, yeah, right, this is probably a prank. That's something that you should not do. You should not engage with these fake people at all, but I did, and to my surprise, they wrote me back, and they were saying, no, it's legit, I'm overseas. I was just like, well, ask your mom, and they're just like, well, no, my mom's overseas too, and we need money, and blah, blah, blah. Of course, this wasn't the real student. It was somebody just trying to take, but there are real people on the end, so don't be fooled if somebody starts trying to engage with you. If you engage them, so don't engage them at all. That's what I suggest. But anyway, that being said, talking a little bit now about spoof card, and this is a way that people can get you like that over the phone. It's insane. So I'm going to take you to this website here. They did a live demo at that C3 conference that just freaked me out. So I'm going to attempt to reenact it for you. This right here, it allows you to disguise your voice and disguise your caller ID to play pranks. You definitely want to be aware of this. Know about this. Don't give any kind of weird information over the phone to people. It's crazy because this is starting to get really big with the kids nowadays. So let me show you how this works. Me being me, I signed up with an account. So let me unshare my screen really quickly. I'm going to go ahead and log into my account here. Continuing to log in with my phone number. Don't want to necessarily broadcast that over the internet. Alrighty. And hopefully okay, yeah, good. Alright, so I'm going to share my screen again. Screen share. Okay. So this is what it looks like after you log in. Okay. So once you log in, then you can put the destination number. I'm going to call myself at home. You can select a caller ID to display. Okay. So that's going to be my caller ID. I'm going to show you how this works. You can change your voice. I'm going to make myself a guy. And then there's even extra options. You can act like you're in traffic, at the club, at an airport, blah, blah, blah. It's crazy. So I'm going to, just to make it as clean as possible, I'm not going to put any background options, just so you guys can hear. So let me unshare my screen, and I'm going to put my home phone number in there. So let me see. I have my cell phone and my home phone with me. So let me see here. I'm going to place my call. Alright, so it's giving me a number to dial. About to do this from my cell phone. Let's see. Alright. Come on, cell phone. Okay. So, here we go. About to call. Moment of truth. Watch this, guys. It's crazy. Okay, so I'm calling. And it's going to start ringing over here any second now. Will you look at that? Look at the caller ID. See that number? Now I'm going to put it on speakerphone so you guys can hear. You see what it did to my voice? My voice is totally changed. I sound like a dude. Of course you can't hear everything that I'm saying because there's a little bit of a delay, but yeah, it's crazy. Like the second I found out about this, I called my mom and I had a conversation with her, and she was just like, "Oh my goodness, that is just so creepy. Turn it off." But yeah, and you can put all types of options behind it. You can put like, you know, let me go back to this screen. It's ridiculous. Let me see here. Dashboard. Going back to my dashboard here. What am I doing? Okay. So let's look at some of these options, and let's look at some of these implications here. Like what could this mean? Okay. So let me share my screen with you guys one more time. Oh, hanging up the phone. Okay, start screen share. So look at these options here. I could say I'm at the airport. I could pretend that I'm somebody's kid and I'm at the airport and I need money. I can pretend that I'm locked up. It's crazy. So this kind of stuff is it's very important to know about this. It's extremely important to know that this kind of stuff is out there and is really gaining popularity among the kids. So when I shared this in a staff meeting, then people were saying that it was kind of freaky because that we wanted to make sure that the kids don't, that nobody uses this for the wrong purpose. So maybe one good thing to do is to require written notification for parental communication with the kids. So parental communication regarding the students. So that might be one good thing to make sure that you're implementing in your schools, or following up to a strange phone call with an email, or even better, talking face to face if at all possible. But definitely be aware that this kind of stuff is out there, and crazy people are using it to to their advantage to kind of get over. So let me go ahead, close out of this. I'm going to share my screen one more time. We're going to go to the next topic here, which will deal with Wi-Fi sniffing. You may have heard of this. I know it's pretty much common knowledge that if you go to McDonald's or if you go to Panera or someplace that has, wireless internet, you definitely don't want to do anything of a sensitive nature. You don't want to go to your bank account and, start putting in passwords, because, people can have all types of crazy information, sniffers. So people can look at what you're doing, and it's crazy. People can even set up their own hotspots. For example, this isn't something that I would do necessarily, but let me just tell you, I have, you probably heard me reference before that on my phone I have a hotspot that I take with me everywhere I go, just because I do so much work on the internet. So what I could do, I'm not going to, of course, because I'm a stand-up type lady, but some people, they could set up their hotspots as open access, take it with them, and if they have like a sniffer, a Wi-Fi sniffer, all they have to do is take a look at what you're going on, and bam, they have access to all your information. So you have to definitely be aware of that kind of stuff. It's crazy. Let me go back and share my screen one more time. I'll share my screen again with you guys. Okay, so let's take a look at some of these things. Now, Wi-Fi sniffing can be used for neutral purposes, like this restaurant here. They have like a picture frame, so they're using Wi-Fi sniffing just to look at images and stuff like that. So hey, is it moral? Not necessarily, but is it like totally bad? No, not really. Even stores can put Wi-Fi sniffing to see how long you spend in a department, so they can have their Wi-Fi talk to your phone like a GPS and kind of keep track of where you are in the store. Nordstrom was doing that. Google was doing it to enhance Google Maps. So that kind of stuff, yeah, it's not totally necessarily moral, but there's nothing like really wrong per se about it. Now, here is how it can be used for evil. Mwahaha. No. Here's an infographic here. So the Wi-Fi sniffer, it could be anybody. So they have fake Wi-Fi networks like I was telling you about. Let's see. This kind of has information here about the UK, but let me see. I thought this was a little longer. But okay. Anyway, you see how many passwords were leaked in the UK, or globally, I should say. 637 million from 2011 to 2013. This stuff is insane. However, for some reason, this is not illegal. Why? What's going on here? We have all types of crazy laws, and we can't get this stuff. Banned. But anyway, in the U.S., it has not been ruled illegal as of September 2012. For right now, who knows? Maybe they've done it. But anyway, just to wrap that part up, make sure that if you're on an open network, don't do confidential stuff. That's the best way to protect yourself from these Wi-Fi sniffers. So if you want to go on like Netflix and watch a movie, kill some time at Panera, hey, that's fine. But I wouldn't go on there if I were you to check your bank account, do your taxes, stuff like that. I'd leave that alone. Even better, if you can get like the tethering, have your own Wi-Fi with you at all times. Hey, it's a little pricey, but to me, it's worth it. It's definitely worth it. So those are some things that you can do. Let's see here. I'm going to skip to even more craziness because we're running out of time. So let me just go ahead and wrap up for today. Let me see here. Where's my Google toolbox? Okay. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this discussion of cybersecurity. Let me put one more lower third on here. Okay, well, anyway, it's on my other Google Docs. So if you go to my Pinterest, my name on Pinterest is Sarah the Teacher, same as my Twitter handle. But you'll find I have a whole board about cybersecurity. Let me actually go show you that really quickly. So let me see, www.pinterest.com. Oh, okay. So if I go down here and check me out, got boards for everything. Got boards for days, fool. That's right. Oh, what did I just do? Okay. Cybersecurity. There we go. Bam. So right here, got a lot of different tips that can help you guys out in terms of cybersecurity. So things that you can do to protect yourself. You want to definitely make sure that in the new year you are safe, making good decisions, all types of things like that. Make sure that if you're on Twitter that we're connected. Follow me if you can. I'll follow you back. This presentation will be archived along with the others at www.sarahjanethomas.com. So that'll be on the video page. In terms of the survey, please make your voice be heard. You can vote on the next upcoming topics for the interactive walkthroughs. And as you can see, we had some Q&A today, so I love it, love it, love it. So feel free anytime, any session, to use that Q&A widget to ask any questions you may have. Also, if you have a question after the fact, then feel free to ask, and I'll look it up for you if I don't know the answer. So, yep. And next time, come join me. We're going to be talking about Wix web design, and Wix is a great free site building option. If you want to see a Wix site finished version, then that would be this right here. But that is going to be held at 1 p.m. on Sunday, January 5th. And I'm going to be off break pretty soon, so this will be reverting to more of a weekly format, either Saturday or Sunday, usually at 1 p.m. So I'll definitely keep you guys posted as to when the next sessions are coming up. And yeah, Happy New Year! Whee! Whee! I just threw something up in the air that's supposed to be like confetti, but I'm not going to see you guys until after the 1st. So definitely looking forward to a great 2014. I wish all my PLN members the best. That means you are part of my PLN now. You're part of the Sarah the Teacher fam. So have a happy New Year, and I will see you guys on Sunday. Take it easy.